Good afternoon. So this is going to be a re-record, and I brought more context just to flesh this conversation out a little bit more. I think Nux does a really good job kind of breaking down the most recent. I think this video came out a few days ago. The most recent kind of Candace Owens drama. Obviously, you know, she's always been a controversial figure, but she has, I don't know, some would say gone off the rails, I think, especially in the last couple of years, and especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Utah. You know, obviously there's been a lot of drama surrounding that. She has come up with numerous conspiracy theories, questioned the narrative, the official narrative, pretty much every step of the way, every facet of it, which I think don't just blanket statement say, yeah, whatever the government tells me, whatever the official narrative is. Don't just take things at face value. Obviously, do your own research. See if through your own analysis and your own logical processes, you can, you know, determine whether or not something is likely, probable, possible, whatever, right? I think that I do have a video that I'll show after this. That Tom Belial, or whose video is it? But he perfectly, he's so much more eloquent than me, so much calmer on the mic. He brings up, basically, I think he hits the nail on the frickin' head when it comes to Candace Owens. But first we're gonna look at Nux. I did watch this a few days ago, and then the recordings got all messed up, and I don't know, I'm learning, so let's go.
Welcome to today's video on Nux Taku. That's right. On the lore channel today, we're going to be talking about some Candace Owens lore, because some crazy updates happened. And I'll be real, it's a little bit diabolical. So Candace Owens, famous podcaster, YouTuber person, she's getting millions of views on all of her videos. I don't know if it's foreign bots that are using her to become, to basically destroy the entire conservative movement in America. Oh, and I don't know if it's naturally just very bored conservative moms that are involved in the reality soap opera of Candace Owens.
I think it's both.
Reality, where essentially every day for the last 3 months she's made an hour-long video getting millions of views following the conspiracy theory, trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk. Not the guy with the gun on the roof that shot him, according to him and his parents and his friends, and according to the DNA that was there and bystanders at the time.
And,
obviously,
and
that
I mean,
is too unlikely.
Also confessions.
What's more likely,
you know,
is that there are
confessions in chat, or text messages, confessions in Discord chat rooms, which apparently, or Discord servers, apparently Candace thinks that those things are the same, and there weren't any timestamps, so obviously this was faked by the FBI. I don't know. I think it was Tyler Robinson. I think he, you know, grew up one way, and then he got to college, got brain rotted, you know, just got it in his head and shot Charlie Kirk. I believe it was even with his, like, grandpa's old rifle or something, right? Or, like, grandpa had been asking about it because they thought, like, the family members thought they recognized Tyler, and so his grandpa was like, oh, hey, can I get that back? Or who's got it, you know? And then lo and behold, it's not accounted for at his dad's place, and it's because Tyler took it to UVU, and he shot Charlie Kirk in the neck. You know, it's kind of Occam's razor. It's also, I don't know. I think this kind of thing almost happens a lot more than we think it does. I think Steven Crowder has said it numerous times, where he said that this isn't anything new. You just saw the one that got through. And yeah, I think her just questioning the narrative, I think she's capitalizing off of Charlie Kirk's death. I think she is delusional. I think that she is so convinced of, like, in her own paranoia, that she sees patterns where there aren't patterns, and she sees correlations where there aren't correlations. And we're gonna see some of that in this video.
Israel did it, and the Jews did it, and Charlie Kirk's friends backstabbed him and betrayed him, and Tim Pool did it, and also it seems like Ben Shapiro did it, and also Turning Point did it, and Jewish billionaires did it, the French government did it, the Legionnaires did it, the communist beat cults did it, the Egyptian Air Force did it, and it's very likely that she is the next target. All right, now that is a much more likely story, actually, than, you know, the guy that was actually there that shot him did it. So, anywho, Candace Owens has said multiple times the following. If Erica Kirk told her to stop, she would stop. It's the only person
Oh, there we go.
she would listen
Mono.
to.
Oh,
is
it was
if
on
Erica
stereo.
Kirk told her to stop. Because we all know it's pretty insane. She's
that sounds so much
basically
better.
destroying Charlie Kirk's legacy, obliterating the organization that he worked so hard to create, and honestly is accusing all of Charlie Kirk's friends as backstabbers. So this is what she said. Listen, I'll stop if Erica asks.
No one, and I mean absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erica Kirk has the power to shut me up right now. That's it. Asked her about the conspiracies and what she had to say to those saying them. Erica said, stop.
So Erica said stop. Interesting. Now, let's see what's actually going on. So this is Candace Owens. Before I show you what Erica Kirk actually said, this is Candace Owens being super comfortable about destroying Charlie Kirk's entire company.
And somebody was saying, you know, what if what you're doing destroys Turning Point USA? And I said, you know what? This is what I always say. If the truth is capable of
It's not even the truth. She has zero
Anything
evidence
she
to
says.
anything she said in the entire series.
destroying your company, the truth, then does your company deserve to exist?
Bro!
If I'm like, if people...
So this is to honor Charlie Kirk. To honor Charlie Kirk, she wants to destroy his life's work with lies.
Well, and
This is
we
not
have
the most
added
insane
context
thing
for
ever.
this now. For her motivation, we just saw the video that Steven Crowder leaked of the town hall meeting for Daily Wire employees after she got fired. And I think he's the CEO, majority shareholder, whatever. And you know, he laid out, hey, these are the facts. This is what she's doing. We tried to work with her, gave her benefit of the doubt, A, B, C, D. And, you know, companies and influencers like Steven Crowder, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, Turning Point USA, Daily Wire, you know, it's a web, right? It's an interconnected web of personalities and people and collaborations between the organizations and people, spokespersons, whatever. And no, she's basically, I think, so offended and so mad about what happened that she's basically looking to try to burn the house down, you know, in her own terms, in her own words. And I think that, you know, like what she says, like, oh yeah, if the truth, right? It's like what people have said about the Epstein list, right? Is that if a full release of the Epstein files would destroy America and destroy the American political apparatuses, then it deserves to be destroyed, right? And, you know, that's not trying to equate child trafficking, sex slaves, like that sort of thing with what she's talking about here, which is just a completely unsubstantiated, completely asinine, brain-rotted take on alleged connections and very thinly veiled suggestions that Turning Point USA had been involved, or members high up had been involved in, quote-unquote, silencing Charlie and taking Charlie away from us. And it was because, you know, she's even alluded to Israel being responsible because, it was like 2 days after he died. And she went on air and she's talking about how, we had secret text messages that I'm never going to show anybody about how he was turning the corner on Israel and the question of Israel, and, you know, that's why they killed him. And it's like, obviously, they being, you know, the Israeli state, but probably in her mind, quote unquote, Jewish Zionists, right? It's just, man, sorry, that was kind of a word vomit there, because I just scrolled through her Twitter, her X account for like 30 minutes, just trying to pull different things and look at different things, and holy shyster. She is nuts. I don't know. I don't know how you could scroll through her Twitter and not kind of see the narcissistic, paranoid through lines, like through the whole thing. And it's constantly a bait and switch of her talking about like the same 5 things, you know, the obviously Charlie Kirk, the Macrons, the French president and first lady conspiracy theory that she's getting sued over, I do believe, by the Macrons. The Egyptian planes was another big one, and she was taking shots at Tim Pool after Tim Pool rightly called her out. And it's just like every 5 weeks, it's like a Rolodex. It flips over to the next cycle of going through the same shit over and over and over, without substantiating anything, without actually producing a shred of evidence for anything. But she alludes to, I have sources, I have messages, I have emails, but she's the only one who's seen them. Because they're hallucinations in her own mind, not because they exist.
People learn the truth about how Candace Owens treats her employees. Candace Owens isn't going to have a career. If people learn the truth about what Candace Owens does in the weekends, it will destroy her career. Like, that probably means that you're not a good person or you're not a good company if the truth is a threat to you. I've heard this argument over and over. I've never been fearful, and obviously I'm kind of constantly going through a public x-ray of my life, people examining. I'm never fearful because I think I'm a decent person, right?
Oh, great.
I live honitably. Nice. Do I make
no,
mistakes? Yes.
She's
I
a
own my
deluded,
mistakes immediately.
self-involved narcissist.
I own my mistakes immediately. Anyway, she blamed Israel and Netanyahu and the Jews and Bill Ackman and Josh
And I believe
Hammer
her when she says that. I believe that she believes. And it's not because it is objectively true. It's because she's a psychopath.
Point USA people and etc. 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 etc.
And I will be very quick to apologize to people when I get things wrong. But I'm not an evil person. No.
Great. Well, she told us she's not evil, which means that she's probably not evil, which is pretty diabolical. So this is what she's been saying. Now, Erica Kirk went on Fox News yesterday and absolutely went insane.
Come after me.
I mean,
poor
insane
Erica.
Style. She
like, holy
actually
shit.
fucking destroyed Candace Owens.
Call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want. Go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode.
Every single episode. For the record, Candace Owens.
Yeah, she's been
millions
farming
of views per episode. All of her videos are
farming
sponsored.
the crap out of this.
She is the only person that fits these criteria. Erica's directly talking about Candace Owens.
Going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this. No.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because
100%.
This is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system.
The most Freudian slip of all time. Judicial system. Wow, that was not a dog whistle. That was a dog megaphone. It's obviously the Jews. Obviously the Jews.
I do. We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French. But this is not okay.
So you want to put these people back in the box where they've been creeping from?
I don't care what box you're in. But just know that your words are very powerful and we are human. My team are not.
Dude, I feel so bad for her. I really do. Like, I feel so bad. Like, I can't even put into words how bad I feel for her. Dude, I was heartbroken when Charlie Kirk was murdered. I was heartbroken. Actually heartbroken. Her husband was murdered. Murdered. In front of her and her children and the whole world. Murdered. By a degenerate piece of shit. Because he wanted to have a conversation. And because he wanted to talk to people about things. I can't even put it into words. She went through a nightmare situation. People on the left are saying that she's faking it every single time she cries. People on the right saying it that every time she's not crying, she's obviously faking it and she never really loved Charlie because she's not crying. Like, holy fuck. This poor lady lost her husband, the father of her children. She's grieving, and everyone is jumping on her.
Yeah,
like crazy.
It's upsetting that it's coming from both sides, or not even both sides, but all sides. You know, Nux said it perfectly, or Mr. Taku, sorry. Where, you know, you've got the people on the left saying that she's just trying to farm sympathy and whatever from his death, and then you've got people on the right saying, oh well, if you're not crying, then you're not grieving. Are you happy that your husband died, and blah blah blah. And then you've got you know, people, the JD Vance hug thing, right, where people took a photo of that hug taking place that makes it look, you know, I mean, I get it. If you just saw the picture of them hugging where she has her, I believe, right hand, like, kind of on his neck, like, behind his ear, you'd go, oh, you know, what's going on here? You know, like, I could see how you could come away with an assumption of, like, oh, they're more than friends, or there's something. But in the context of, one, where they were, which was up on stage in front of hundreds of people, televised, so in front of probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, you know, between TV news networks and the internet, wherever they were streaming. And then in the video, it's just a quick, like, oh, hey, I'm coming off stage, you're going on stage, it's good to see you, you know, be strong. And it is nothing but platonic, it is nothing but a friend to a friend when you watch the actual video, right? But you've got these degenerates on both sides, frankly, trying to farm clicks, because, like, let's be real, this was the, you know, Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's the most public and impactful political assassination probably since what, Martin Luther King Jr. Probably. And you know, we're still feeling the effects of it. We're literally, I mean, you know, what are we, 3 months, 5 days later, or 2 months, 3 months? Oh no, it's December. Jeez, time flies. And you know, like what Nux said, like, my heart broke. I couldn't believe it when I first saw, you know, I got all these push notifications, and I saw the video, like the uncensored videos, and this was right after Irina Zarutska, and it was like, I was still kind of shaken up from seeing that, not being prepared for it, and then to see Charlie, and it didn't feel real to me, and I was in a slump for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks before my wife finally was like, you know, you seem like you're back to yourself. It was like 3 or 4 weeks. That's what, you know, and I would have loved to have met him, and I wish it hadn't happened, because I think that he was a very strong voice. But, you know, the assassination aside, obviously that's horrible, but she's not even allowed to grieve in peace, because everything she does or doesn't do is being put under a magnifying glass and being examined and taken out of context, and people are coming up with these idiotic conspiracy theories of she was in on it, TPUSA was in on it, she and you know, Vice President Vance are having an affair. It's just complete codswallop. And then immediately after the shooting, she saw thousands and thousands of people celebrating, laughing, saying that they were glad that her husband was dead, saying the greatest thing happened to his kids. The greatest thing he ever did was get shot so that he wouldn't be there to raise them to be traditional, you know, biblical, conservative wives. People were saying that. So you have to go through all of that, and then now we're in the conspiracy theory phase where she's basically getting told, you know, by people like Candace who are spouting this nonsense, she's basically being told, hey, your grief is fake. You don't have a reason to grieve because you were involved, or, you know, you should turn that into anger at TPUSA, people who you have become an adult around and been involved with, and they've been involved with, you know, taking care of your kids, probably babysitting, watching them on set, doing it's it's so hard to imagine going through all of that in the span of 3 months. Like, I've had some rough years. But man, having 3 months of just unlimited scrutiny being put on you while you're trying to grieve, I can't imagine it.
Like, I feel terrible for her. I really do. But anyway, Candace Owens has been the absolute worst of it.
Machines, and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats.
Doesn't surprise me.
I have, you name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up, what are we supposed to do? Relive that trauma all over again? They watched my husband get murdered. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I was there that day. And thank the good Lord that I did not have to see that happen. But my team, they are rocked to the core. So why every single day do they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, hyper-analyzed?
You know,
Sit in a corner and cry and be in fetal position. This is a duty to my husband, and it's an absolute honor, and I will never back down. And so my message to them is to stop. To stop.
and that's what we will say.
I think I
here on
saw.
number 2.
Damn.
I think it was yesterday or the day before, but it was a matter of weeks. Maybe it was even like a month or more, where she literally slept with her kids because she couldn't bear to go into the master bedroom of their house. And I don't know. It's just unfathomable grief, pain. It's terrible.
So that's the message. The message is to stop. So
Nobody
Candace
can tell me to
says
stop,
if
but
this ever happens,
Erica said stop.
And she says she'll stop. Dude, I'm actually like heartbroken.
Candace
I feel bad
said,
for her.
well-
This is why I never like bring her up. I never like react to her or do anything like that, because I really feel bad for her. My heart goes out, man. Like she's out there. She was a supportive wife, faithful mother, a servant of God, and here she is suffering the worst tragedy ever, and everyone's making it worse. Everyone's just making it worse. So this is Candace Owens. She immediately responded with this little video on her Instagram.
Okay, super fun show today. You're probably seeing the clips, but Erica has gone off on conspiracy theorists. Obviously, every journalist out there is emailing me because it's about me.
It's about me. I'm the main character. It's about me. Charlie Kirk was murdered. Her husband was murdered. Her kid's father was murdered. It's about me. It's about me.
Direct, but it's also about me.
Me. Unbridled female narcissism. Me.
And don't worry, in case you think it's not about me, she is going to name check me on stage with Barry Weiss on Saturday.
Me.
How do we know? Because our mommy sleuths be everywhere. And they recorded the town hall today. And as soon as the town hall concluded, we got a flutter of emails. And what she says about the Egyptian planes, I'm sorry, not gonna lie, it's a little suspicious. It's weird.
It's the bro.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is the craziest thing ever.
Weird.
You have this woman crying on national television that her husband was murdered in front of her, and people are harassing her because of these conspiracy theories. She's like, it's about me. She's suspicious.
It's a weird response. So look, we gotta go there. Okay, so
We gotta go there. Look how happy she is. She's thrilled because she knows that she's gonna get another banger video out of this one. Erica Kirk mentioned her. She's so lucky. Wow. So this is what she said on her show. So then she did her show that day, yesterday, after Erica Kirk was on Fox News. This is what she had to say.
well, now you're gonna have to prove that you have the ability to be a CEO and a chairman, and not just a wife who we expect emotion from. And you're rightful in that capacity. You are rightful to have emotion. You are rightful to be the aggrieved widow.
Well,
but
know
you
what?
don't get to just be.
I'm so glad that Candace is saying this, because if Candace is saying that, then now Erica knows how she needs to act, right? Candace said, you gotta act this way. You gotta do that. And I'm sure Erica didn't know that until Candace said it.
Widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. You don't get.
What?
Yeah, I can't believe she said
The
that.
fuck are we watching? This bitch is crazy and evil. What? Charlie Kirk said that he wanted his wife to become the CEO after he dies. He dies, she becomes the CEO. And she's saying, well, it's pretty suspicious that he dies and now she becomes the CEO. This is directly implying that she was involved in his murder to steal his company. This is literally, unironically, unambiguously, directly implying that she was involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk to take over the company. And just like she said, so many of the Turning Point people had to know about it. I covered this in my previous video. This is just a lore dive here on Nux Taku. We do short videos, the most requested topic every day. Definitely subscribe. On Nuxanor, we do the long form deep dives. But this is crazy.
To respond to, well, in this case, investors, donors who have given money and are asking meaningful questions with, no, you don't get replies right now because this is the Charlie Kirk show, fam. Doesn't work this way, okay?
It doesn't work
Yeah,
this
no,
way.
again, I'm so glad
just...
that Candace is graceful enough to tell Erica what she can and can't do and how things work. I think that, you know, she left the fold like what, a year and a half, 2 years ago. There were those texts that came out where Charlie was expressing concern over Candace's kind of rabbit hole ideologies and that she was falling into the rabbit hole, going, you know, she was kind of losing her ability to discern reality from her own paranoia and seeing things that weren't there, basically. I think that she is deluded enough to fully have expected and believed that she would be welcomed back to TPUSA to help steer the ship. Like, part of me just really, really believes that, which is why she does have such a sour grapes attitude when it comes to Erica and treating Erica the way that she's been treating Erica, and you know, kind of this condescending attitude that she just showed in this past clip. I really wonder if that's kind of the motivating force behind the kind of quiet animosity that she's been showing.
Become a CEO. You get widowed into being chairman and CEO? That's crazy. So this is a slightly longer version of that Candace clip, which is, I think, even worse.
Now, I wasn't sure about Erica. I was waiting kind of a situation for her to be in, obviously having lost her husband.
Yeah?
Becoming the CEO and the chairman of a company. It's just a lot of transition, and it's nice to wait for more information before you prejudge or just assume, make an assumption.
She was making
about somebody
posts like
is not
a few days later.
So she's saying she was assuming that Erica Kirk was maybe possibly involved in the murder of her husband, but she didn't want to say it publicly because it was too soon.
Well, we are getting a lot more of Erica Kirk this week. I'll tell you that, because she has been doing the rounds in the media really over the last couple of weeks, and she just gave an interview live with Harris Faulkner on Fox News where she finally addressed the quote-unquote conspiracy theories. I have to say this because it's true, but it completely missed the mark. For me, I am sorry, it just has.
It missed the mark? It missed the mark? Bro, Tyler Robinson, the murderer...
Allegedly.
All right,
probably.
Is going to be on trial. All the evidence is going to come out in the trial. And what is this even happening? Missed the mark. Her husband was murdered, and you're the one most affected? Like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
But the good news is that she is now unmurkying the water in terms of her intentions with this massive political organization. That's good news, truly, because we knew Charlie, and now we are getting an opportunity to know Erica. Plus, later on in the show, it's Knives Out for Tucker Carlson. As always, he's trending right now because he has officially waded into the who killed Charlie Kirk narrative.
That's right. Tucker Carlson is also saying,
excellent
I don't trust
company,
the FBI on
by the
this
way.
one, in regards to Charlie Kirk getting assassinated.
Since he is not a bought and paid for Fed.
No, he's bought and
he
paid
is
for by
siding
Qatar.
with
He was
not
just
the
there
American
last
people,
week.
people worldwide. And he says that he's not buying the official narrative. And there are some lingering questions.
Right.
And he confirms what I told you about the Egyptian planes. So,
Right, it's the Egyptian planes. Tell about the Egyptian planes, guys. The Egyptian planes are really suspicious, aren't they? So this is her doubling down, making another show. Now, I'm going to show you a supercut, all right? This supercut.
I tried to find this video, but I couldn't.
Are going to change your life. And I don't think you're ever going to be able to look at Candace Owens the same way after you see this. So take a look at this one.
no one, and I mean absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erica Kirk has the power to shut me up right now. That's it. There's nobody that has the capacity to get me to shut up about this except for Erica Kirk. And I will say this, like, I am on this journey to figure out what happened on that day. I'm not going to stop unless Erica Kirk asks me to stop. I said early on, if Erica Kirk asks me to be quiet, I will be quiet.
But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I
but she
love,
didn't specifically say
and you're
Candace,
making
so this doesn't
hundreds
count.
and thousands of dollars every single
This
episode.
is a classic Candace.
But this is not okay.
It's a no from me, but you know me. I'm just out here saying
that
what needs to
smug-
be said. We'll be right back after a brief message from our sponsors.
If that doesn't literally sum up the entire situation, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. She has repeatedly said, I'm not going to stop unless she says it. I'm not going to stop unless she tells me to stop. I'm not going to stop unless she tells me to stop. She tells her to stop.
Actually,
and then she's like, very suspicious statement you've made there. That's a no from me. We're going to have to keep digging into this a little bit deeper. If this is not the most diabolical thing ever, I don't know. So let's just be clear what her stance is.
Do you think it's normal, by the way, that basically every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed?
What the fuck? No one has to say that. Literally everyone criticizes Israel. What are you talking about?
like literally, you start speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal.
Meanwhile, Tim Pool got shots at him, and he has security, and you have basically no security. Interesting.
Excuse my language, but like,
she
that
probably has
is
security.
Not normal, okay?
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
It's not normal that people have to think about their security because, and by the way, it's not normal that then the way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, well, they shot JFK in an open car.
Who's they?
So there's not, he's a sitting president. Obviously.
She really thinks Israel killed JFK? Bro, Israel was barely a country in 1963 when JFK was killed. Like, anyone that thinks that Israel killed JFK is like,
no, it's
what are you
that's
talking
such a
about?
ridiculous. If that's what she meant, that's so ridiculous. They were barely establishing themselves. I think it was 1947. I think was when officially they were gifted the land. In the wake of World War II, they were still remigrating to Israel. They were reeling from there. I believe still there are less Jews in the world now than there were before the Holocaust, right? I think that's a real stat. They from an operational capacity, they had absolutely no means and honestly no motive to shoot JFK in the head. That's so ridiculous. It was almost certainly, in my opinion, it was the FBI, it was CIA, on account of probably military-industrial complex. Like I really haven't dove too deep into the 11/22/63, but that's just, I don't know. It's probably like Occam's razor. It makes the most sense.
It's the craziest thing ever.
Then my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. That's not a normal thought process to have. We don't have that about any other country in the world, except for the one that, took over ours. And that's the truth.
Oh,
okay?
the Israel controls the United States, obviously.
Right,
We are an
right.
occupied nation. And if it's going to take women like having to speak up and say that to make permission, like to give permission to men to do the same, then I'm happy to be the first person, okay? I just want to be clear. Anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. Like 1000% blame the Zionists. Like let that be what my parting word.
Right.
Which is code for
anything
Jew,
happens to her, blame
but,
the Zionists, guys. Let's just remember. Now, don't forget, the reason why she's really backing out of this big Turning Point debate, as I covered in my previous video, Turning Point invited her to actually discuss all of this, and she actually said no, she's not willing to go there and discuss it, even though she said she would. Then she basically changed goalposts and said she's not. This is because she had a discussion with a CNN reporter lady, okay? And CNN reporter lady obliterated her.
When you say you believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by someone close to him, what do you mean?
I think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of financial reports that are coming out. And I, first and foremost, do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I want to be very clear on that. Whether he was involved, I think the answer is yes. I think that's obvious.
And your basis for saying he didn't act alone is what?
I don't know, maybe the weird Fed messages that were concocted out of thin air that had no timestamp and were written.
Technically, all electronic
were speaking.
Communications are concocted out of thin air. Just from a physics standpoint. Also, she has absolutely no evidence whatsoever showing, oh, this was fabricated. Oh, I have a source. Like, she claims to have a source, I believe, coming up, and it's 100% unsubstantiated. She can't prove anything. That's like the classic Candace Owens thing. Is you just kick the can down a little bit more, offer a vague clarification, and move the goalposts. That's like her entire strategy in order to get away with what she does, which is obfuscate the truth, rile people up, sensationalize things that shouldn't and frankly aren't or ought not be sensationalized. Like that's her grift. That's why like grifter gets thrown around a lot, right? Just like words like hate and love, Nazi, Hitler. Oh, I'm probably gonna get flagged. But words like that, when we use them too much, they end up losing their meaning, right? They don't have the same efficacy as they ought to. Oh, I love that song. Oh, I love this food. Oh, I love. And you go, well, do you really love it, or do you just like it a lot? Do you really like that movie, or do you love that movie? And part of that is just people being linguistically lazy, which is normal. Like the advent of Old English into Middle English, New English, having contractions, things just speed up in a way, right? Where you think of a Victorian or a Shakespeare play in the way that they talk versus, or like a King James Bible, something like that. And you think about the efficiency of speech and the efficiency of language. Like eventually I think we'll just communicate through our, neural implants or whatever the heck Elon's working on right now. But it devalues itself over time when you use terms incorrectly, right? And so a lot of people say, oh, so-and-so is a grifter, Hassan is a grifter, Frogan is a grifter, Nux is a grifter, but genuinely, Candace Owens is that grifter. She is that grifter. And every time she opens her mouth, and every time you see that cycle, that Rolodex that I mentioned earlier, and not that anybody's going to watch this video, but for the sake of posterity, that Rolodex and just flipping and moving goalposts and cycling through the, different talking points and just stretch things out until the new sensationalized event happens, or the next event happens that she can sensationalize. And it's like, even just diving back over the last 6 months, it's such an apparent trend when you watch her content. And I genuinely feel like I probably lost 8 to 11 IQ points, just watching her. Yeah.
In 1822, among other things.
So her evidence that he wasn't working alone was that the text messages that he sent were probably fake because there was no timestamps.
Their lack of an ability to answer any basic questions about what took place.
Do you have any proof that the messages were made up? Because that would be easily proven.
Yeah, but they didn't put timestamps on them, and Discord came out and said they didn't exist.
She doesn't know the difference.
Holy shit, they didn't have timestamps, and Discord said they didn't exist. Yo! Maybe she's onto something.
Those late text messages, not.
Oh, they were they weren't even on Discord. So no wonder Discord says they don't exist. Because they were via text, not Discord.
Discord messages. It's my understanding from the indictment.
I actually did not read that they were text messages.
She did not read.
In fairness,
the indictment
she can't read.
Of Tyler Robinson. She made 3 months of videos. 3 months of videos on this. She didn't even read the indictment.
Statement calls them text messages.
What would it be like the feds are like on a computer, like typing it out back and
That's
forth?
exactly what it is.
Yep.
The feds
Yep.
made up the text messages.
But you don't have anyone from like the FBI telling you that, or law
I have
enforcement?
leaks.
Okay.
No.
Get the fuck out. You don't have leaks. I have leaks. I saw it in a dream.
Has anyone leaked to you?
And Tyler Robinson
What has anyone said to you, even off the record, like, yeah, we faked these?
I have very strong sources everywhere on both
Bro,
sides.
on both sides. What do you mean you have sources on both sides? Who are the two sides?
See, it's
oh my god.
nothing's
He's actually
substantiated.
like sources
Like-
on both sides. What are the both sides? Both sides? Oh my fucking god.
Well, I look forward to seeing evidence of
Yeah,
that.
sure. Because when we keep talking about evidence, it's like, who's going to present that evidence? Like the
You.
mainstream media.
It's your job.
You! When you're accusing people of murdering their friend slash husband.
Like there was another
you
clip I
should
saw
show the evidence.
where it was like her arguing where it was getting a little heated. There was like a little panel in a square, and she's talking to this other lady, like sat diagonally from her, and she's like, the lady's like, well, prove what you're saying, like prove your claim, and Candace is like, well, you can't disprove my claim, right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, like you don't understand, like burden of evidence, right? Where you go, well, I was thinking of this earlier. In Harry Potter, right? Luna Lovegood does the same thing, and it drives Hermione up a wall, where she's talking about, the nargles and the different, like, whatever mythical beasts, Crumplehorn, Snorkack, like whatever, and Hermione's like, well, how do you know that they exist? And, it was her dad, Xenophilius. And he goes, prove that they are not. Talking about the Deathly Hallows. And she's like, what? It's like the Resurrection Stone. He's like, what? You want me to go and like, what, pick up every single rock, like, in the world and make sure that every single stone isn't the Resurrection Stone? That's impossible. And Xenophilius is like, you're starting to learn. And, he didn't mean it sardonically. It's just... he is, completely devoid of logical thinking, similar to Candace Owens here, where she can, like, the presentation of evidence, it's like, if you're the one making the claim, you're the one who has the burden of proof. You are the one who's supposed to show up, right? Like, that's why we have, like, in our judiciary, we have courts with a plaintiff and a defendant, right? So if you commit a crime and you're put on you're a defendant, you just have to, it's not about proving your innocence, it is about disproving the allegations against you, right? So let me put that a different way. If you are on trial and you are being, you have criminal charges brought against you, and this is subtle, but it is not, your goal is not to prove your innocence, it is to disprove the prosecution's arguments. It has nothing to do with, not nothing, you know what I mean, but like, just in terms of sequence and in terms of progression of a trial, they bring forward all the reasons that they have, all the evidence that they have, all the argumentation that they have to try to convince a judge or jury that you committed whatever crime, right? And your job is to knock down, whether that's through, testimony, forensic evidence, whatever you have to counter their claims. That's literally what our judiciary system is based off of, is the burden of proof being on the person who is bringing the charges. And this lady right here is apparently incapable of thinking like that, and is incapable of understanding, who's going to bring that evidence out? I have leaks, I have sources. It's like, okay, well, you're the one who's making the claim that is supposedly backed up by these sources, so you're the one who should be releasing that evidence. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my God.
Who were you
Yes, that
expecting
would
to
be
come
a hot
out?
story.
No, it wouldn't be.
It would be.
It wouldn't be.
If the FBI, like if I had a source
You're getting
telling
owned
me,
by
like if I had
CNN.
proof that the FBI faked those messages, that would be an enormous story.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we live in a post-Epstein world, and we know how stories get shut down.
That is
That's right.
That is
in
a fair point,
post-Epstein world, you can only trust Candace Owens. All right. So anyway, a lot of people were. I have to say, all right, I'm gonna have to shout out Ben Shapiro on this one, because even though dude's been he's been crashing out a lot, Ben Shapiro actually fucking cooked. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I've said this before. I'll say it again. But when Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes are on the same page, it means they're objectively
that's actually a pretty
correct.
fair metric.
So Ben Shapiro called out Megyn Kelly, another conservative podcaster person.
And yeah, Megyn
for
Kelly here
not-
makes a bunch of claims about like, oh, I didn't know she said that. I didn't know that this was happening. And, you know, Ben is justifiably angry. You know, I was a big fan of Ben way back in like, I don't know, like when did that stuff start blowing up? Him owning, quote unquote, owning the, you know, college campus kids and whatever was like 2014, 2015, something like that. You know, and he was well-spoken, logical, and his reasoning always made sense to me. When he would chain arguments and do, you know, dispute whatever the college kids were saying. And then recently, you know, I haven't really paid any attention to him just because, you know, I'll see things that he says and I'm like, oh, right, I can't afford to live where I grew up. I should just move. I should just, you know, not live in my hometown where I know people and I'm comfortable and I love it. Because, you know, your generation and my grandparents' generation completely destroyed the economy and sold out. You know, sorry, my bad, I guess. You know, how dare I want to live in my home, you know? And obviously that's, I think he got a lot of backlash from that statement that he made. And I understand where he was coming from, but it's like, you still you don't say it because you're going to get clipped. And even if you don't get clipped, even if it's shown in context, it's still not a good take to publicly say, even if it is correct, because it hits home. It hits home. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm 31 and I just look around the people around me and the affordability crisis and the housing crisis and everything going on in the world right now. And everybody is so devoid of hope, in my generation. And then I see people who are younger than me and I feel bad for them because, you know, I'm like a tail end millennial right before Gen Z, right? Like, I think Gen Z technically started 97 or 96, the end of 96. So I was born in 94. And so I kind of got that 90s kid, grew up with, you know, Pokemon cards, but I still had some of the 80s, early 90s holdover things, like nostalgia things, because, you know, I had older cousins, so they would pass toys down to me. So I'd get things that were kind of that early 90s nostalgia stuff. And we, you know, kind of that being born in, you know, 1990 to 2000, we were considered the first generation where our prospects were less and hope was less for in comparison to a previous generation, right? Every generation had gotten better and wealthier and more educated, longer life expectancy moving through the 20th century, right? And we were the first time that it was like, oh, it's going to plateau. Actually, maybe it's going to go down a little bit to our generation. And I just look at Gen Z and I think what it is Gen Alpha. And it's like, that's another market step down. Like, I don't think unless something radical happens, I don't think that Gen Zers are going to be even as well off as we were, right? And I think the same thing's going to continue with Gen Alpha unless, you know, a lot happens and we're able to kind of right the ship and have an economy that is strong, jobs available, and people are paid fairly, and they can actually afford homes because, you know, corporations aren't buying up the homes, or they aren't, you know, like the 50-year mortgage thing is insane to me. It just boggles my mind that was even a suggestion. It is literally, and I know I'm far from original in saying this, but you will own nothing and you will be happy, right? You don't even own your phone, right? I do. I always buy old phones because I do a lot of outside work and gardening, and I destroy them, right? So I'm not going to spend like $1,200 on a new iPhone. But you have this like leasing your phones through your phone plan, where it's like you don't really own it, you're paying it off, right? How many people have a car payment, right? So you own a portion of your car, you don't own your whole car. You get a 30-year mortgage, you don't own your house, the bank owns the house, you're paying it off, right? So subscriptions. Like, I still like buying DVDs because, you know, things are constantly coming in and out of different streaming services. And, you know, who knows, one day something might happen where it's like, oh, that just got deleted, like, from the cloud or something. You know, I have no idea. I don't even think that's possible, but just bear with me here. But it's like having a physical copy of the movies that I will always want to have, or the music that I will always want to have, or the books that I will always want to read. It's important to me. It's important to have that physical thing because we don't own anything. It's like even our video games, right? And that was an argument against pirating, where you have the end user license agreement, where technically in the small font, or in the small font, you got you are agreeing that you are borrowing a license to the software when you buy a game, right? So you don't own the game that you think you own. You are licensed to play it from, you know, your Steam library, or, you know, back in the day from CDs. And that's why people who abuse the, you know, pirating or the licensing agreements, they get like permabanned or something, right? Or they get completely bricked on Steam. It's because they violate that, because nobody reads the end user license agreement, right? Same thing with Apple. Like, if you know, I'm probably one of the few people who doesn't use Spotify because I have my songs, I like my songs, I buy my songs, and I don't need to experience all this new shit. So even on iTunes, which I might be the only human being who still uses, I don't own those songs. I am licensing those songs through Apple as the medium from the probably not the artist in most cases, it's probably the record label. So you don't own anything. You will never own anything if things continue to go the way that they're going. You'll just perpetually have payments. Like BMW was going to roll that out, where they just make one trim of car and you pay different amounts to unlock different features. So every car that was going to be made would have, you know, heated steering wheel, air-conditioned seats, heated seats, unlocked horsepower, like whatever. And it's like, oh, do you want to buy the one that's governed to only, you know, have 230 horsepower? Or do you want to buy the one that's the engine that's governed, or the trim that allows you to unlock 323 horsepower? Are you going to spend an extra $10 a month to get heated seats? No? Okay, well, what about air-conditioned seats? And it's just this idea of taking advantage of consumers over and in a perpetual state, right? Because, you know, if you bought like a 1978 Corolla or something and took care of it, that thing would do like 5 trips around the clock, right? But now you have planned obsolescence, you have things that are designed to fail so that you have to come back and buy something new. It's like the newest iPhone, I don't even know what it is this year. Do you really think that they couldn't have made that last year? They probably could have, but they said, you know what? No, we're gonna step this stuff so that we have we're gonna have a gentle, soft progression so that every year we'll get people to buy the new iPhone that is almost exactly the same as the old iPhone. And then they got sued. I believe Apple got sued by the European Union because they were shown, it was proven that they were using software updates through the iPhone. This is back in like the iPhone 3G, iPhone 4 days, I believe. They were designing software updates to slow down the older phones because they knew that, oh, if we add in all of this in the background, the CPUs aren't going to be able to keep up, or the internal RAM isn't going to be able to keep up, and it's going to get chuggy and slow, and you can't download the newest version of this app. You need to get a new phone because yours can only update to this point, right? And what does that do? That makes people go out and buy another phone. What happens to the old phone? Ends up in a landfill, right? I don't even know how I got onto this, but anyway, Ben Shapiro, something about 2014. Oh yeah, that's wow, that was a tangent. But yeah, so he's kind of been unpopular lately. I haven't really listened to Ben a whole lot just because I feel like he really has a hard on for Israel to the point where he just can't stand any criticism or any questioning, and it feels like he gets really defensive. And I'm fine with somebody playing defense and playing ball that way, but like it just got too much for me. And then I don't know, I just have gravitated towards other people, I guess.
Condemning Candace Owens.
What Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what?
By the way, Daily Wire, 1 billion% justified for firing her.
Because
like I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I don't take in that content, which is an honest statement. I don't have time to watch Candace's show.
I believe you. But the point that I'm making is that
what I understand
friendship
Candace
should not, in our
doing.
business, I think it's important. Listen,
Candace
friendship
and I are
should not
friends.
trump.
We don't even know each other.
I understand, but even with Tucker, friendship should not trump our manifest requirement to speak out when people do and say things that are both detrimental to conservatism and morally wrong.
Okay,
he's just right. Ben's just
so
absolutely correct.
Detrimental to conservatism, that take it or leave it. But I do believe, yeah, you have, if you have a platform and you have something happening like what Candace is doing to Erica, and I feel like it's a 98-2 issue with, what she's doing is morally reprehensible. I think that you are obligated to, for the common good of just maintaining our ethical boundaries as a society, if you have a platform, you should speak out on that evil, and you should try to correct it or to condemn it, right? So Nux Mr. Taku likes to bring out Bible verses, and usually it's the Old Testament. Well, I'll give you a New Testament one, because people think, oh, New Testament, it's all rainbows and hugs and everything else, because Jesus showed mercy to sinners, right? That's the whole thing. Like, let he who is without blame cast the first stone. But in Matthew chapter 5, you see the believers should show compassion and patience, but never tolerate or participate in evil, wickedness, sexual morality, false teaching, right? And it is so incorrect to think that, like, and whether you believe in the Bible or not, like, just look at it from a standpoint of, do we think that this is a sensible way to look at things, right? Where you should show compassion and patience, but you should never tolerate evil and wickedness, right? Where I feel like we've started coming out of this brain fog between COVID and the transgenderism, where that was frontline news everywhere, BLM, George Floyd. Like, there was a lot of civil unrest going on, and there were people who were getting canceled, like cancel culture, for things that they said or did 20 years before. People were getting fired from their jobs for things that they probably don't even believe anymore. And you know, it's like, it's okay. It was okay to say things back then, right? It was okay to like, oh, yeah, your friend, you know, oh, he's being weird, so you call him gay. And it wasn't because you were homophobic. It was just because he was acting gay. And it's like, you said that because it was funny and it was edgy and it was like this kind of like, oh, we said something bad. And you grow closer to your friends by doing stuff like that. That's why, you know, whenever you turn that certain age, especially with boys, you know, somewhere between, I don't know, like 12 and 15, and you spend, you know, 6 to 24 months being a little shitbag, you begin swearing and acting out and just trying to find yourself as a person, really. But with your friends, you know, you would say, like, some of the things that I've seen people get canceled for, I'm like, ooh, man, if I was ever caught on a hot mic back in, you know, 2008, I would be unemployable, apparently. I don't know. But it feels like we're getting out of that, right? Where people are saying, they're normalizing words that were normal but maybe still frowned at. You know, a big example of that recently would be Trump calling Tim Walz retarded. You know, saying, oh, the extremely retarded governor of Minnesota. And it's like, that has nothing to do with mentally disabled people. That has to do with Tim Walz governing his state like a retard, right? That's how Trump meant it. I'll probably get, I don't know, I don't even have viewers or monetization, so actually I'm untouchable. But not true, please don't ban me. So with us coming out of it, you know, I feel like the quiet majority of people who are just the normal, affable, sensible people in the world were too tolerant of things that we ought not to have been tolerating, at least to the degree that we were tolerating it, right? Like, if you're transgender, that's none of my business. If I will do my best in person to use whatever your preferred pronouns are, or just use your name, right? Like that's what I would rather do, instead of say, oh, he, she, it, like whatever their thing is. I would just say, oh, so-and-so, like your name. Do you want to do this? Or no, so-and-so doesn't want you to act like that. Or no, so-and-so, right? Because then you just kind of like, don't risk offending people without, if you don't need to, right? Don't cause harm if you can avoid it. But that's different than, oh, we're gonna have, you are not allowed to prevent a male-born person from going into the women's restroom. You are not allowed to prevent a pre-surgery male with a dick to go into a women's locker room, right? That's too far. That shouldn't have been tolerated. We never should have tolerated it. Especially for, you know, what amounts to like less than 1%, right? Of the population of the United States. And that's not to say you can't be trans. That's not to say, you know, you're any less of a human being because you are or aren't. It's just to say, like, at some point we have to draw a line, and that's with everything, right? Like, I don't want anything to get too powerful. I don't want a super powerful executive. I don't want an overly powerful Congress where the executive doesn't have, it's supposed to be checks and balances in our government, and I think it's supposed to be checks and balances in our society as well. And it's always going to be a pendulum. You're always going to overcorrect in different issues across different years and different generations. But it's that successive approximation of being a little bit better every time we come to that crossroads, right? But yeah. I think Megyn Kelly, she claims to have not know that that's what Erica was saying. I'll take her word for it. But I believe she makes a statement after this that's like, she kind of doubles down on her position in this interview, and it's just, I don't know. I think, you know, some people are afraid of quote unquote that smoke with Candace. Like Tim Pool when he came out and he was like, I know I'm going to get attacked for this. I know this, I know. And then Candace was mocking him saying, oh, why do you think you're going to get attacked? It's like, well, because you're a lunatic and your fans are lunatics. So, you know, if I say something about you, the chances of something happening to me are going to go drastically up, right? Erica Kirk said it earlier in this video where she said, we have had a marked increase in death threats and, you know, people insinuating things and people coming by and like for her and her Charlie Kirk family in the TPUSA team, you know? And it's because you get degenerates like Candace Owens whose entire grift is around causing divide and sensationalizing things that shouldn't be sensationalized. And it's terrible. And if you have a platform to speak out against it, I believe that you are morally obligated to do so.
Cooking. So Megyn Kelly made a separate response video saying that actually I didn't see anything about Candace, like literally just sucking up to Candace Owens because she is the largest conservative channel on YouTube right now because she's getting tons of views. Who knows if it's from foreign bots or manipulation or whatever, but she has a massive audience watching this soap opera of how Charlie Kirk was betrayed by everyone.
He said that Candace has been claiming Erica Kirk was behind the murder of Charlie.
No, she was involved.
Which I had not heard, and I was taken aback because that seems like something I would have heard. It's so crazy. And I have since learned it is not true. Candace has not made that claim. And in fact, I've
Except it is true. It actually was just true.
It was. I saw the tweets.
I've seen several clips of Candace specifically defending Erica Kirk and saying she would never make a claim like that about Erica and that she, you know, she is open-minded to other people at Turning Point. That's obvious. She's been making that point. I had heard that point. But she's specifically been defending Erica Kirk. And she's been saying she does not think that of Erica. And in fact, if you read her comments, she's under pressure to make comments about Erica. And so far, what I've seen, she hasn't. So thank you for that question.
Well, I think it's time for an apology to old Benny boy. Bro misses the mark a lot, but on this one, he was absolutely fucking spot on. Yup, that's where we're sitting right now, where Candace Owens is sort of saying and implying that it's really suspicious. It's really suspicious about how Erica Kirk is handling this. There's a lot of things to see. Even though Erica Kirk, the first time Erica Kirk tells her to stop, she'll immediately stop. It's kinda weird. And this is why women in politics are absolutely diabolical. Thanks for being here. This is today's lore video on Nux Taku. I do one video a day over here. I might
Classic.
do two at some point. We'll see what we'll see what happens there.
Classic.
Definitely
little...
subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I will essentially use this channel for lore dives on interesting topics and funny stories. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. Bye. Like, subscribe.
Like and subscribe, obviously. Classic Nux going out with a little misogynistic jab right there at the end. But yeah, this went longer than I thought it would, so I'm gonna do kind of the Twitter dive as a separate video. Not that anybody's gonna watch this, but anyways, yeah, big thanks to Mr. Taku over here, and yeah, I look forward to continuing to do content and maybe try to be a little bit of an orbiting moon around this beautiful blue Jew over here. So catch you later.